Okie dokie. We are recording. I want to make sure I'm up. There we go. That should help. Okay. All right. So for anybody joining in today, we're going to call this workout loading with intervals. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, you can only do intervals if you're running. I'm like, no, you can do intervals. All intervals means is you want to intersperse intensity into whatever you're doing. The problem is, see what I'm doing? I have a very narrow range here, but many of you are in your home and you don't have a lot of room. So I'm going to show you how to even intersperse a little intensity in a warm-up. So see, I'm going to go front and I'm going to go back and I have a band. And then I'm going to go side, tap, okay? Now everybody's doing real good until I ask you, oh, is your tummy nice and tight? You might say not. Well, tighten your tummy. That means brace. What is bracing? So step tap while I'm explaining this, step tap. So whenever I step tap, I want to do a tiny bit of a hip hinge. So by doing a little bit of a hip hinge in a side tap, see, I've already introduced what's called an interval into this move, this warm-up move. So I'm going to call this loading with intervals, okay? So just by pushing your butt back and keeping your core, your tummy braced, you've already heightened your muscle use, okay? Okay, now I'm going to do front to back walking, and then I'm going to tap on either my chair, my kitchen chair, or this bench here. Or it could be the side of a bed. Something lower, you know. I don't want to go too high yet. So here's my little band, and many of you have bands, but if you don't, just get a tea towel. And just hold the ends of the tea towel. Hold the ends of the tea towel and do this, okay? So I've got my band. I'm not really pushing, but what I am doing in this little warm-up is I'm pushing my shoulders down, okay? Now at the end of this little interval here, I'm going to bring my shoulders up, but right now they're pushing down, okay? So again, I could just have a tea towel that I'm doing this with. That would be perfectly fine. But if I have this little band, or if I have a band that I've tied in a knot, I will just rotate it, okay? And I'm really, really concentrating on pushing my shoulders down, okay? Now keep pushing your shoulders down. Now I'm turned, and I'm going to go tap. And I'm going to go tap. Okay, now let me caution you. The minute that you go to accelerate or to elevate, I should say, your knee lift, it's going to throw you. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen somebody put their foot up like this and just keep going. Okay, so I'm cautioning you. When you go to do this from something that we were just doing, see, it's a front back, we were doing this, and then I turn here, you need to set yourself, okay, into the nose, out through the mouth, set yourself wider, now shift, now put that knee up there, okay? People will fall from being too narrow and too upright like this, okay? Hip hinge, go wide, shift, tap, So just by stepping wide so that you are more stable, you can now interject this elevated knee lift and a deeper, not real deep, but it's deeper than standing, hip hinge, see? And then come up, press, and come up. Now, if you're really tuned in to how you're functioning, you have noticed just by these few raised knee taps, okay? It's a toe tap, but you're raising your knee in order to do that. And it could be in a chair. It could be like tapping on the side of the bed. And if you keep your arms rotating like I was before, right now, you've probably noticed an elevation in your breathing. Okay, you have to breathe deeper. You have to breathe more often, or both. Okay, keep your shoulders down and keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping. Okay, stay wide. So yeah, I have to shift more to get into that support leg, but this stance makes it so that I'm not going to be so unbalanced and lose my balance easier, see? This makes it so that it's a more careful lift. Drop your shoulders, drop your shoulders, drop your shoulders, drop your shoulders. Couple more. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Then I'm going to merely, I can either lean in or I can stand, whichever is more doable for you. I could even lean on a wall if you like being up more, because I'm going to go like this now. I'm going to go heel to hip while I'm pushing in to a wall, or I could do it here on a bed, or I could do it here on a chair, okay? So I like it up here. Since I have a wall, I'm going to use it. Some of you have walls. And I'm going to go pull, 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 heel to hip, heel to hip, heel to hip. Keep that wide stance. Keep your shoulders down as you're pushing in to whatever you chose that you're pushing into. Big breath, 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 breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and push away. And here we are. Now I'm going to go step tap, step tap, step tap. So I'm advancing. And then I'm going to go behind my heel, do a little dip. See, dip. See, I'm saying dip. I'm not saying curtsy. See, I got guys on here. I don't want them to think they're curtsying. Take a breath. Take a breath, take a breath. So by doing those movements, and I could go back around, if I didn't feel like I was warm enough, I could go back around and go back into some of these very moves to get us warmed up. And I just progressively went on up so that you're starting to feel pretty warm. Now we're going to take our shoulders and we're going to really take care of getting our ankles prepped, our shoulders prepped, because we're going to be lifting today. And we're going to do some interval type lifts. And I'm going to show you what constitutes an interval. And you can do it in a very small area. Okay. So how do I get my ankles prepped? Well, I step again a little bit wider than shoulders. I pull my tummy in. I drop my shoulders to begin with. And I just go into that toe box. So I just want to just do that little bit, and you will rock a little bit because you're going to go back into your heels, okay? So this little move that we're doing at the tail end of our warm-up as we go into our lifting is actually part of the basic program, which is only about 12 moves, which I'm going to try to hit today, of the Strong Men, Strong Women Stay Young program, okay? And it's directly aimed at osteoporosis prevention and management, okay? So stay into that toe and then go into the heel, okay? Toe, heel. Now, if you're staying out here, you're going to start feeling a little tense back here. So as you're going into your toe and then you go into your heel, I want you to raise up, out of the hip hinge. So I hope you're getting this. So now I'm going to go into the toes. So you lean in just a bit because that counterbalances. You stay into your toes for just like 1001, 1002, 1003. Now you go into your heels. Now raise up. See how that helps you to, that movement helps you to be able to do this, because you're going to get a lot of tension started because your back extensors are holding you in this position. See? So that's why I want you to keep your chin tucked. You go into your toe box, you lift your heels. You hang out here for a bit. If you need to stabilize yourself by putting your hand on a wall, that's fine. Okay, or a pole. But I'm into my toes. Okay, now when I go to my heels, I'm going to unhinge. I'm going to actually tighten my butt. So I'm going to come up, keep my shoulders down, go into my heels. Take just a little recovery. So here I've already started to introduce principles of intervals. And we're just coming off the warm-up. So I hope you're getting this. So let's do it one more time. So here I am. Drop my shoulders, drop my chin, hip hinge. So the minute you do hip hinge and your rib cage is up, you're going to feel your back extensors really contract. Then you go into your toes. You lift your heels. If you have to, put your hand on a wall or on something that doesn't move and hang out here for just a bit, okay? And I'm hip hinged quite a lot. My heels are up. I'm already up to probably 10 to 15 seconds holding here. And I can do presses like this. Now I'm going to come off of that. I'm going to go to my heels and I'm going to come up. I'm going to squeeze my butt right there, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now just take a little walk, 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 walk. So I've already started introducing intervals. Intervals is where you could do 10 seconds, actually. You could do 10 seconds at a time. And I'm going to actually set my little clock. So I'm going to pull out my little clock and I'm going to go to my stopwatch. And I'm going to show you, we're going to start doing 10 second, 20 second, 30 second type intervals. Okay, so here's my band. And what I'm going to do is make sure my chair is here where I can sit in it. So here I'm going to go sit, okay, like that. All right. And I'm going to start with light weights, okay? So the beginning, as we're getting really warmed up and into this, is going to be with more light weights. Then we're going to, as we move on, we're going to go ahead and pick up heavier weights. So now I have light weights right now. Each one of my weights in my hands, this is 6 and this is 6. That's light for me, okay? Whatever is light for you. It might be that you don't use any weights this morning. Maybe you're recovering from something, too much snow shoveling. That's what it is. And if you are, fine, just do the motions with no weights. But then you might want to pick up a 2-pound weight or a 3-pound weight. Something that is constituting light for you. Okay, so here I am in the chair. So here's the movement pattern. I'm going to pick 3. And we're gonna go back into them. So here I am. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna go pull, 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 pull. I'm gonna bring them up. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna come just to the tops of my head. See there? Here's my shoulder. But as I do this, I'm gonna bring my knee up. Remember how we did the elevation here? Remember that on the warm-up? So I'm not going to encourage you to put your foot up here while you're handling weights unless you want to. I am going to encourage you to just bring your knee up, okay? Because that is a less likelihood that you're going to misstep. See, if you put your foot up here, sometimes you get disoriented, like I went over at the beginning of this, and you start going and you don't have anywhere to go, right? So here I am. See this? See this? I just am bringing my knee up, but I have to keep my stomach super tight. I'm only going to my ears. See here? I'm not going up past my head. Some of you have shoulder issues that you should not go up at all. And if that's the case, just hold your weights here and bring your knee up. See that? Okay? But if you can come up, just go up to your ears and down. You don't have to go up very far to really engage your muscles, and it won't have the likelihood of hurting your shoulder. See this? See this? Bring, 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 breath, breath, breath. Turn back. Here we go. Now instead of going one at a time, I'm going to go both because this is lightweight. And whenever I go pull and I'm standing, I go from that hip hinge to standing up, squeezing my butt right there. Yes. So it's a down, pull, down, pull, down, pull, down, pull. Then I turn. I'm right here on my shoulders. I go to my ears again. See, I'm actually touching, because if you don't touch the ear with the side of your weights, many of you are going way too high, okay? So I'm going to go up, up, and I'm going to bring my knee up, 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 knee up, knee up, and knee up. Bring them down. Then I'm going to end with that shoulder shrug, okay? So as I do my shoulder shrug, I'm going to step out and back in, okay? So here's my center. I'm going to step out, not very far, and back in. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. When I step out and I do a shoulder shrug, I keep my tummy super tight. I keep my knee soft. Do not lock your knee out there, okay? So it's up and it's drop. It's up, step out, and drop. Tight tummy, up, step out, drop. Up, step out, drop. Up, step out, drop, and up, step out, drop. Take a big deep breath. The hands go right here. Okay, so those are the three big moves that we started with lightweight with. Okay, now we're going to end this one with just a modified front arm extension. Say, why is it modified? Because some people will say, oh, front arm extension, and they'll take what we think is a lightweight, and they'll throw it up here with an arm straight out. You don't want to do that, okay? So get used to this before we get into this, all right? See that? So I have to be shoulders down. I have to really be grounded. My knees are soft. I'm in a little hip hinge. I just keep my elbow pretty bent, and I just bring it right to chest height. I don't go more than that. See? Right there. So I'm telling you, this is a move you have to be careful with, okay? It's a good move, but people compensate. And what they do is they start to come up here. And so as a trainer, I would, if I were doing this with you, I would be right next to you. And the minute you would bring your arm up here like this, I would have my hand right here on your shoulder. Because you know what you do? You've probably already done it. You go like this. You lift this up and then you bring this up. That's a compensatory move that you do not want to get into, okay? So stand your ground, okay? Drop your shoulders, and it's a pull right to here. Keep my chin tucked, and don't lift those shoulders, okay? Because that way we can really keep our shoulders very safe and keep them moving. Now, why am I spending so much time prepping you on this. This is light weights, right? What if we were doing this move with a heavier weight? Number one, I don't get too heavy on this at all, okay? But the shoulder has to be able to be supportive of this move. And we don't want to injure it. We want to make it stronger, okay? And now we're going to hit one move to the back muscles. So that means the back of the deltoid, the posterior deltoid, the triceps, and I'm doing it in the same position, okay, for good reason. See, I'm going to come right down here. I'm going to go push, bring those shoulder blades together. Now release them, drop your shoulders, push, pull those in. Yeah, come back, push down, pull them in, okay? Push down, pull them in. So once you've learned the move, then you can deal with intensity by either making the moves more quick. I don't tend to go super quick. Or you can do it with more weight, okay? Or you can hold it. So see, if we're right down here, this is going along pretty well, see? But what if I wanted to increase the intensity? I didn't want to change my weights. I didn't want to change my speed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just pull those back there, and I'm just going to go push, push, push. Keep your shoulders down. You're just a tiny little bend in the elbow. And it's pushing back repeatedly. Keep your shoulders down. Into the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, breath, and come back down. Good. Okay, big breath. Put your weights down. I just put them on my bench. You can just put them on the floor for a second. Don't rack them, because we're still going to be working with that just for a second. Okay. I had to adjust the heat in here. It's getting so hot, you know. I have to adjust the heat. I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, all right. Are you ready? So open your hands. Yeah. And I was just checking the picture. Now, I just introduced about 3 or 4 moves just now, correct? Now I'm going to put a little intensity in them, and I'm going to loop them together, okay? So I'm going to grab the same weights. These are 6s, okay, dokie? These are 6s. And I'm going to come back around. I'm going to pull in. Remember these, okay? Now stay with me. So it's going to be pull in. So now instead of doing one and then the other, which there's really good value in doing that, but I'm trying to increase weight load intensity without changing my weights, right? So here we go. Drop your shoulders. So it's going to be pull. And you don't do it like super fast, but you move right along, okay? And I'm only going to be doing like, I don't know, let's say 6 to 10 repetitions. I'm just going to hang out there, take a big deep breath, take a big deep breath, take a big deep breath, big deep breath. And I'm going to come right up here. See that? I'm going to go here to here, to my shoulders, shoulders to ears, and it doesn't matter which knee comes up, okay? What does matter is that your shoulders are down and that your tummy is tight. Then I'm going to go up, lift the knee, and it doesn't have to be much. And I'm not going to go super fast, but I am going to move right along, okay? Breath, 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 breath. Yeah, hang out. Just keep going. Hang in there. Breath. One knee up. The weights just come to my ears. And remember, if I don't want to lift them, I just hold on here. And I bring the knee up. See? Yep, I just bring the knee up. I just hang out here. I make sure my shoulders are in good position, but if I can lift them to my ears, I will try to do that. Breath, breath. Okay, last one. Breath, breath. Yay. And come back down. Big breath. And I go shoulders up and shoulders back down. Shoulders up. And now I'm going to go into that toe box. That's the only thing I changed here. So toe, 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 toe. So you're lifting those shoulders to the ears. You're going into the toe box. We've already practiced it in the warm-up. Breath, breath, breath. Two more, two more, two more. Here we go. Keep your chin down. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Yay. Then I'm going to just do a high hip hinge, a wide stance. See, it's a wide stance, and it's a little hip hinge. These are light weights or no weights, depending on your situation. Then I'm going to go push, and I'm going to stand up. We've already practiced this in the warm-up. So I'm way back here. See, my shoulders are down. Okay, now we're going to move along. Push, breath, push. So you're squeezing right there as you stand up all the way. Then you hip hinge, knee bend, push. Breath, push. Notice where my weights are coming down to. You notice I'm not bringing my weights way up here. I'm keeping them back here because I want to keep constant pushing on the backs of the arms right now. Push, push, tight tummy, drop your shoulders, rib cage up. I know I caught ya. Just keep doing that. So when you're up, you're squeezing your butt. You're just straightening your elbows, all you're doing. And I am not bringing my hands in front of my thigh. Okay, I'm not bringing them in front of my quad. I'm keeping them back here. Keep your shoulders down. Rib cage up. Two more. Breath and breath. Nice. This was light weights. Okay, so now I'm going to put them down. Okay, I'm going to go up one. So I went up in weight once. All right, and then we'll go to the next group of exercises. But now we're going to do a little bit of a interval, okay? So look what I'm going to do. I'm in a small area. I'm going to do a step out and a step back, okay? I have a pretty wide stance, a little bit wider than shoulder, but I'm going to go like this. And every time I step out, I'm going to ask myself, is my knee far enough back, okay? So when I step out, I keep my body back. So it's a 1 and a 2. See that? Kathy may be counting 1 and 2. See that? We got a good group on here today. Yes. So look what I'm doing. I'm doing a little fist, squeeze in, fist, squeeze in, fist, squeeze in, breath. So it's just a curl and a step. See that? Curl and a step, curl and a step, curl and a step, curl and a step. Breath and breath. See, we're moving right along. It's no problem. Drop your shoulders into the nose, out through the mouth. Keep your tummy tight. Now we're going to speed this motion up. So it's going to be step, 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 step. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, see, I just step out, I just tap out, and I stay pretty much up because I'm not fully bending this time. I'm just increased my speed, and anytime you increase your speed, you will decrease general mobility. Okay, so go back down to the slower. Okay, just do this little experiment with me. So here I am, same movement. See, I step, and do you see how I bend in? I bend from the hip, I bend from the knee. I almost put a little weight on the front, and then I come back. When you increase your intensity or your speed, you don't have the time to really step in. See that? See how it changes everything? Whether you go momentum or whatever you do. See? So when you step quicker, you can't quite get into the same range of motion. Okay, big breath. Now, I'm going to just turn here. I'm going to just tap. See that? Now, here's where, if you're going to tap on your chair, if you're going to tap on the edge of your bed, I wouldn't go all the way up to a chair height and put your toe on top. I would not do that. Why? Because, see, I don't know if you can see my chair here. If I have to lift all the way up like that, the chances of me catching my toe is great. So if you only have a chair, here's what I would suggest you do for this next little move, okay? If you only have a chair, I would say just put the bottom of your foot on the front of the chair. See that? See, I'll even do it here on this bench, even though it's lower and I could easily go up with my toe. Okay, I'm just going to go tap. See that? If you want to hold your body in a better position, if you can press into something, that's good. And you might say, well, Judy, I don't have a wall right there. I have a bigger space. I'm going to say, well, that's good for you. Get you a pole. See, you just hold on to that pole and you go push, push, or you don't push at all. You just stand here, freewheeling, and I'm repeatedly pressing the bottom of my foot into the front of whatever my target is, whether it be a bed, a chair, a bench. See that tap? So it's a repeated tapping. So what my caution to you is on this one is not to overlean. So you know my tendency is to overlean on my hip replace side. I don't want to do that. All right. So it's really great to have a mirror there so you can see what you're doing. I can see my shadow. I can see very well. Now I'm going to add my arms. Okay. So I'm going to go tap, tap. I'm tapping the bottom of my foot again at the front edge of the chair. I am not trying to put my toe up there. That's a formula for disaster, actually, especially when you're going to do repeated presses. See this? Yeah. Take a big breath. Big breath. See that? What if I had my hands right here and I just went pull and pull? See that? So yeah, I'm setting you up. That's for sure. See, I don't lift. I pull back. That's why I love working with free weights. You can get a push and a pull. So we're doing a little warm up here. Breath. And then I stand forward. I have my weights here. I'm going to pull right under my chest. Okay? And come down. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to pull in, bring them down, pull, bring my shoulders down, push down. As I pull my weights up, then I step wide and I step in, okay? So a lot of hip action with some weights. So now we've warmed up. So now I'm gonna try to see and count off what our interval is here, okay? Okay. All right, so you got your weights ready, correct? All right, so I'm going to go 9 pounds. So it's a little heavier, correct? So where's my target? My target could be a chair right here. Here's my chair. I was just doing it on the bench because then you could see what I was doing from the side. I can pick the chair too, but it's a little higher, which is okay. I'm just going to push and push. Okay. I have just added 9 pounds and 9 pounds. Okay. When I do a small hip hinge now, and I have these weights here, okay, whether or not I do anything with them at all, I just added 18 pounds. Okay. I can have them here. I can have them here. because for this first one, I'm just going to go push and push. So it's whichever you like, okay, whichever feels the best, but your shoulders are down. You want to hold them in place, okay? I'm going to start my interval here. It keeps going off, and then I have to, okay, here we go. So here we go. I'm right here or right here. I'm going to go 1 and breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Make my tummy super tight, and I'm pushing, pushing, pushing that bottom of the foot into that chair just so I feel a target. See that? Push, 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 push. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep going, and bring it down, and bring it down. That was 30-second interval right there, okay? So here I am, right here. Are you ready? Take a little breath, and take a big push out with your chest. And then pull back in, get in line. Another 30-second, well, I won't say 30. Let's go for 20 seconds, okay? See, I don't want you to think you have to do too much. Okay, so I'm going to hold them right here. Okay, it's a big deal whether you ride on your quads or whether you hold them out here, okay? This right here is much harder. This, it's still a good load, but see, my hands are resting on my quads. And then stand up. Anytime you feel too much tension or too much load, okay, and it's a good load, but you have to take breaks. Okay, drop your shoulders and stand up, see? Then when you come to here, you can either have your hands on your quads or you're holding it out here. So this is much harder. Just be ready for that. Okay, dokie. We're gonna go to the side. We're gonna do that side tap. I'm gonna turn here just a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna hold mine here. I'm gonna go side, bring it back in, side, bring it back in, side, bring it back in. Big breath. So I can either have my hands here or I can have them here. And if I have them here, I can pull them right into my tummy just a little bit. See that? Just a little bit. Step, pull them in, step, pull them in, step, pull them in. Drop your shoulders, brace, tighten in that tummy, super tight. Stay with me. Stay with me. 5 seconds. Almost there. And that was 30 seconds. Now recovery. So how do we recover? You can put your weights down. Okay, right there. And you're going to turn. And you're going to turn. And you're going to walk, turn, walk, turn, walk, turn. See how I just tap? Then I go back. I go back. I'm only doing like 3 steps. All right. Front, 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 back, back, back. Okay. So we did a lot of hanging on with our core. So when you turn, you're going to have immediate release. All right. And I will even go across and then turn. See how that does? Okay. And for those of you who have let's say you have some arthritis going on in your hips, you know, arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, you're going to get very tight in through your hip. So stepping across and turning is helpful, but when you step across, try to pull that heel in and then just lean back into that pull. Oh my goodness, your back is going to thank you. Okay, so see, I'm just recovering right now. And then come back, step across. So you got one back leg, one front leg. And then what do? Okay, you straighten your legs. You try to pull, keep your knees a little bit bent and then push back, and then straighten that front leg. Yeah. Your back leg is straight too, but you work into that. And it should help you to release a lot of tension right here. Okay? All right. Enough rest. Do you feel rested? Good. Okay. I'm going to step out just like that. I'm going to drop that knee in the back. Now, we've done this one before, right? You step out. You have something, a wall, a bed, a counter, a pole, something that you can reach out and hang on to, okay? In case you disorient or in case you start losing your balance, okay? Because what are we doing? We're in a split stance, number one, okay? So we want to do a split stance. If you want to make it super hard, you try to get your foot right in line with the back one, not touching, because we're in a split stance. But if you bring that in, this right here, to maintain this, especially as you dip your knee down, much, much harder. Most of us feel more comfortable. And the whole reason I'm doing this one is not primarily for balance, even though it works balance. I'm trying to get you to do a strength interval. And I'm trying to show you, I picked between 1 and 3 moves, okay, to do intervals with. So here's one. I haven't picked up my weights yet. Okay, I'm going to. But you see how I'm doing this? I just step out and I go to the toe of the back leg and come down. And then I go back and straighten that. Here's what I'm trying not to do and what I want you to try not to do. When that back knee comes down, I am not leaning forward, okay? I might even have to step out a little bit because, see, I don't want to put pressure on the knee here. So this is calf, big time. Big time gluteal, big time quad. Yeah. Okay, breath. Now step back in. That tight muscle, turn out, just like that. And then just open your hands up, just like that. Take a big deep breath, come back in, and we're going to put the other leg in back. So I'm going to step out. I'm going to be just about shoulder width apart, right? So pretty straight leg in back, right? This one's out pretty far. So what am I not going to do? Everybody should be screaming at the screen. You're not going to lean in. Right. I'm going down. See, I'm bending that knee and I'm coming down. And then I'm going to come back up. Okay? I'm going to come down. And then I'm going to come back up. Down. And then I'm going to come back up. See that? Practice that a few times. Because we go put weights on this and you're leaning out, that's way too much to be out in a not neutral postural lineup. So I want to be very neutral here, okay? So I'm bending that knee, I'm coming down, and I'm going down. Somebody would say, well, how far do you go? And I'll say, well, as far as you can. You can't go any further than what you can, right? So I am going to go down as far as I feel comfortable. As far as my joints go, and I really feel that muscle really going. And see, that calf is taking a hit right now. So for people with plantar fasciitis, this move, oh my goodness, this is where your strength work starts, because you're putting a lot of good weight load on that calf as you're in your toe and you're coming down. So it's very important that you stay in good neutral positioning. See that? Okay, so that was our dry run. Now I don't think we'll get more than that in an interval with weight, and we are going to do weights. Okay, so here we go. All right, now I'm going to go up in weight. Yes. So some of you are like, oh no, this is enough for me. That's fine. I'm going to go up to 12 now. Okie dokie. So I'm going to put one and the other. Okie dokie. You ready? So I'm going to put the other leg back. I'm going to step way out. I'm going to start my interval. If I can keep it going. That's the thing about these. You just want a regular old stopwatch. Okay. And I'm in a good stance. I have my weights. I'm going to bend that knee down as far as I can and come back up. Drop my shoulders and come back up. Breath and come back up. I'm going as far as I can because I've added significant weight now, right? Okay, so I'm doing this with 24 pounds. All right, some people say, oh, it's nothing. I'm like, well, for you, but for me, so don't compare yourself to anybody else because what's that going to do? Get you injured. That's what that's going to do. Okay, breath. Bring that knee down. Keep your rib cage up. I've got about 2 more. And 1 more. Yeah, step in. Turn that toe out. Go right into the next one. Here we go, step and step. Okay, so I'm going to bend that back knee down as far as I can go and up. All right, so it's down, pull, down, pull. Stay into that toe. Big breath, go. Breath, go. Breath. Ooh. See, I bring my shoulders up and back. Up and back. Bend that back knee. Stay with me. We got about 3 more. Here we go. 1 more. And bring it back up. Good. Turn out. Just like that. And turn out. So on the tail end of that, let's revisit one of the other ones. So I'm going to put my heavier weights right here on my thigh. See that? I'm going to go down. Just like that. And then I'm going to come back up and pull those weights to the side. Here we go. Push back. Let your weights ride down on the thigh and then back up. Okay? Now, if you do all of them that way, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to bring these out here. You don't have to. You can bring them right here. Just let it ride. Come down low and come back. So it's a pretty deep squat. Okay? So I'm going to bring the weights out here. It's a much harder position. Stay in your heels. Keep your chin tucked. Woo. Breath. 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 Really keep your rib cage up. Stay in your heels. Drop your shoulders into the nose, out through the mouth. Breath. 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 And last one. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put my weights down. All right, so I was at 12 there. 12 in this hand, 12 in this hand. Okay. Okay. You should be sweating a little. Oh, I forgot you're in Michigan. Maybe you're not sweating. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Take a breath. You should be breathing. If you've been working right along, I hope you're seeing that we've gone into intervals, then we've stepped back. And then we did another interval and we stepped back and we changed different ways in order to achieve the interval. Well, by doing this little workout, loading with intervals, I did it carefully. I encouraged you to pick up what weight you could handle safely. But now we're going to end with a carry. And when I do my carry this morning, I'm going to pick up the whole rack. I'm going to pick up 18 pounds on both hands because I'm going to do a simple carry. Now, when I say simple carry, it's not really simple, especially if you have joints replaced. Okay, I'm thinking of you guys out there because I'm one of you with a joint replaced. If I just hang on to 2 big full buckets of water. I'll say water instead of thinking that you're carrying manure, which it could be. This is the farmer carrying. We're going to end on this one, okay? So I encourage you to just try. And here's the deal. The biggest risk of injuring yourself in this move is picking up the dadgum weights and putting them down. So you need to be careful the way you do it. Look at here. I'm going to go wide. I'm going to pick up one of the weights. I'm going to feel that. See that? Then I'm going to go down. My butt's pushing back. I'm going to pick the other weight up. And then I'm going to come back in. And that's how you pick up loads. Do not round your back. Okay, so here is my carry. And I'm just going to take and walk like normal. I'm just going to do 2 or 3 steps. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back until I find the chair. Then I'm going to go forward again. I'm going to try to stay upright. I'm going to try not to excessively lean. Well, how do I do that when I have one leg shorter than the other? Number one, okay? And you have bad habits because when you wobble, you're trying to avoid pain. See, that's number one. Number two, many of us wobble because one leg is shorter than the other. So you can use lifts, but it's not the same. And you learn bad habits of walking. Okay, so what do? You keep crouched, just a tiny bit of a crouch. See, that's going to make me move into the areas that are weak because I've been wobbling. So see these weights? See, I'm not gripping them. They're hanging from my fingertips. Okay? And it's a lot of weight. Okay? This is so valuable. If you do nothing else on an interval around your house, have some weights that you can grab carefully and do an interval. What's an interval? You do as many as you can until you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do any more correctly. When you start wobbling and you start, oh, it's too far. You got to do your walk correctly. Okay, one more pass, one more pass, one more pass. Stay with me, stay with me. Breath, keep your knee from locking. Don't wobble. You're going to feel it in that muscle if you don't wobble. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to carefully put one way down, and then carefully put the other way down. Okay, open your hands. Open your hands. And it's a push-pull. See that? So I'm regrouping here. See that? Keep my elbows down. Just a push-pull. And I'm going to go behind my leg, behind my leg, behind my leg, push-pull, behind my leg, push-pull. Keep your tummy tight. You let it go. I know you did. How do I know this? Because that's what slugs do, see? And we're all slugs. And we love slugs in this class. Because I know you. Okay? Okay, shake out. Shake out, shake out. Come right here and do that little W. See that little W? Yeah, just like that. See, I'm going to do a W. I'm going to turn this toe out. That's it. This opens all this up. My rib cage is up. I realign. I go out to a T, and I turn the other foot out. So I'm in a T, but you see my shoulders are trying to be in symmetry, not this. So get in symmetry as you turn that toe out, and then as you go into your Y, you're going to step forward into a split stance. See? Just like that, and I'm going to pull my shoulder back. I'm going to soften my knee in the back and just pull back. Open, 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 open right here. Yeah. And come back in. Then I'm going to do the other side. Step forward, step back. Drop my shoulders. Stay rib cage up. And then I'm going to open way back. Really open these. Yeah, breath, 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 breath. Bring it back in, bring it back in. Shake out, and you should be good to go. That was loading with an interval. All right, focusing on interval.